Class is in session for Texas offense coordinator Bobby Slowik.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go. Hard work, work. Everybody doing it right. Hard work, work, work. That's what I say. Hard work, work, work. Earn my pay. Hard work, do it every day. Hard work, work. Get up out of 2:45. Hard work, work. Let me go and earn my pay. Hard work, work. Boots on.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You tuned into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel at Big Sarge Media and follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Because you know we do everything for the gram. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, y'all? Oh, make sure you are subscribed to the Locked On Texans podcast, available wherever you get your podcast from, and on the YouTube channel, Locked On Texans. My co-host and I, John Hickman, have a great show for you all. Slide on over there, Texas fans, and listen to what we have to say. We talk on there daily, so make sure you got your alert set for that as well. All right, I got a great show for you all today on Talk It Out Tuesday, because we need to talk it out. It's time to talk it out. Talk it out. That just don't hit the same as walk it out, Sarge. You got to do a better job. It's Talk It Out Tuesday. On today's show, Texas offense coordinator Bobby Slowik needs to watch the film of the losses to the Vikings and the Packers, but not for the reasons you think. It happened. They lost. Now it's time to focus on the Colts. Texans fans, it happened. They lost. Now it's time to focus on the Colts. And it is Tuesday, so you know what that means, right? That means that it's Big Sarge's chain of command rankings. But before I get started, I had a great time up in Green Bay with my wife this past weekend. She got a chance to see her team win when the Packers defeated the Houston Texans, and she had an amazing time. She loved everything about being in Green Bay. She even came home with some paraphernalia, so you know how that goes. Let me bring that down just a little bit. So you know how that goes. She was happy about that. Hey, look, for those of you all who are married, you know how it go. Happy wife, happy life. If she happy, I'm happy. That's how it goes. I had a great time in Green Bay, but let me tell you what really, really got me excited. So we get to the airport and it's time to rent a car, right? So we go to the rental-car counter, talk to the guy. He says, hey, blah, 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 blah. Cool. The car's out there, right? So we go out there and we get the car, right? Well, I'm sorry. We go out there and it's time to pick a car. So we're left between two choices, right? One is a pickup, right? You know, I drive a pickup. I'm a truck guy, so I have a truck. So one is a truck. The other is a minivan, right? One is a truck and the other is a minivan. So as I stroll on over to the minivan, because the guy which was really weird because he was like 6'7". I was like, hey, left side or right side? And he said, left side. He already knew what I was talking about. At 6'7", you're a tackle. Then he said he plays some center. I was like, you're too tall to be a center. He said, yeah, I know, but my natural position is actually left tackle, but I had to play center because I was smarter than the rest of the offensive linemen. I digress. Hold on. You know I got to do it. What's up, Alexis? And so he walks us over to the minivan, right? And I know that Chrysler is not paying me. Chrysler is not sponsoring Sports Talk with Big Sarge, but I got to give them a special shout out. Because that Chrysler Pacifica S minivan, oh my God. My wife was like, I don't want to be in no minivan. And I'm like, well, I mean, the only other option is the truck. And if you get the truck, then I know for a fact that I'm going to be the only one driving. But not only that, the minivan was better to me than the truck. That thing was fully loaded. I'm talking about leather everywhere. I think when I opened up the door, I heard the car go moo. It was leather everywhere, that thing, everything. Had the little captain's arm, a huge screen. Wasn't really built like a minivan because it didn't have the long back. It had the little short back on the back of it. Was fast. Had like 2 seats and then a third row seat. Had a moon roof. Oh my God, this thing had everything. Automatic sliding doors on each side. Trunk open. Oh man. Listen, if I wasn't a truck guy, I probably would look into something like that. That minivan was amazing. Also, because I'm from Texas, y'all see, it says H-Town right here, right? H-Town versus everyone. So let me tell you how old school Houston people think, right? Let me tell you how old school Houston people think. The first thing I did when I went to put the luggage in the back is when the trunk opened, when I opened up the back, the first thing I did was look at it and I said, I could fit 2 12s back here. Yeah. 2 12s will fit perfect right here. Like I can make this minivan knock. I don't even have to have no rims on it. Old school Houston people, that's the first thing they think about. Can I put speakers in it? Because like in my truck, I really can't put speakers in it, and that bothers me. Like that bothers me that I can't, like I can put them in there, but I don't want to have to pay to get them custom. Like I want to, look, I got the speakers. I got an old school amp, 5,000 watts. They don't even make, 215, huh? Hold on. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, 215. Hey, look, but I got 12s already that I paid for, so I'm cool with that. Plus, I'm getting old. I'm trying to preserve my hearing. If I put 215s back there, I ain't gonna be able to hear. My wife is gonna go nuts because she know I'm old school and so I put I got put two 12s in the back with that 5,000 watt amp, and I'm ready to go. And then I'll think about putting some rims on the minivan. But that minivan is, hold on, Tony. Yeah. Heck yeah, in the mini. Bro, this ain't this. Look, y'all look it up. Chrysler Pacifica S. Like you gotta put the S on it. Get them flat kickers that slide under the truck seat. You know what? I looked at that, but like I really like my hold on, let me go ahead and put that up there. Get them flat kickers that slide under the truck seat. Yes, but I really like the speakers that I have already. I'm gonna have to take a picture and show you. Because in all honesty, in the storage, I got 4 12s and 2 10s. Like if I can find me a old school, oh, it's done. It's done. My wife would never, ever, ever ride with me again in life. I digress. That minivan, oh, that's the only thing I thought. I put 2 12s in here. Oh, I can drop screens. Because you know we got to drop screens. Either dropping the screens or I'm going to put some screens in the headrest, whichever one makes you feel better. Why, boy, that. Anyway, that minivan was nice. My wife did not like that minivan, and she was like, but then she drove and it's like, I guess. We call it the Minnow. Boy, the Minnow was nice. I got 2 12s in my Grand Cherokee. That was a major thought when I opened up the back hatch. Exactly. See, I ain't the only one. Them pancake speakers not. For real? Do they? Hold on. So I'll just bring it back. Pimp my ride. Hey, I'm just saying. Hey, that minivan, I'm telling you right now. Listen, if I ever have to keep my granddaughters for an extended period of time, the truck is gone. I love my truck. My truck is gone. I got to have rooms for my babies in the back. Putting them right back there, and they gonna have all the room they don't. It had chargers on the back seats, on the back of the driver and the passenger seat. It was chargers back there, like ports. Excuse me, so you could charge your iPhones, iPads, whatever the case may be. Both types for the C. Now I might be getting a little bit too nerdy for some of y'all because some of y'all don't know. Some of y'all still either got iPhone 8s. Or you're using an Android. So, hold on. Ghetto Sarge me. Come on, Corey. Don't act like I'm the only one. As soon as you start hearing me describe this, the first thing you thought about was I'd probably do the same thing. Corey, I know you. You ghetto too. Once again, you tuned into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. All right. Let's jump right into this thing, okay? So before we talk Texans, right? Before we talk Texans, I got some things that I need to get off my chest. Hey, Todd Bowles, head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hey, bro, you got to step into the 2000s. You got to step into the 2000s. This old school way of coaching football cost you a player last night. This old school way of football cost you a player on Monday night. Wide receiver Chris Godwin got hurt with a minute and 4 seconds left in the game when Tampa Bay was down 41-31. It was 3rd and 17 from their own 18. And he was tackled by Roquan Smith, and everybody seen how his ankle pretty much just got decapitated. Right? His ankles just was, it didn't look bad. And I'm pretty sure they haven't given out the full diagnosis just yet, and they haven't given out the full length of the injury or how long he's going to be out. But with the injury, with him being carted off, he's going to be out for a while. This is what Tampa Bay head coach Todd Bowles had to say about still having Chris Godwin and the rest of the starters, including quarterback Baker Mayfield, in the game, down 41-31 with a minute and 4 seconds to left. We still had a shot to score some points and win this ball game. It happens. It happens in football. Let me repeat that. Todd Bowles said, we still had a shot to score some points and win this ball game. It happens. It happens in football, and he's talking about the injury. You still had a shot to score some points and win what ball game? What ball game, Todd Bowles? Because the one I was watching, you didn't have a snowball chance in hell. The one I was watching, y'all were getting dog walked. The game that I was watching, like we watching the same one, right? The one that was on Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Baltimore Ravens. It wasn't a throwback game, right? We were watching the same one. October 21st, 2024. We're watching the same game, right, Todd Bowles? Like you were there. You were on the field. You couldn't see. We watching the same game. How in the hell did you think that with a minute and 4 seconds left on your a minute and 4 seconds left, down 10 points, that you still had a chance to win the game against the Baltimore Ravens? If anything, they let up on you all. It looked like the Ravens could have put up way more points, and they don't have that lateral pass. They don't have that lateral pass that turned into a fumble from Lamar Jackson to Zay Flowers. If you don't get that, you don't even get the points that you had to end of the game with. How could you think with a minute and 4 seconds that you still had an opportunity to win the game? It was 30-17 from your own 18. You thought that you was going to throw a Hail Mary, or not a Hail Mary, but you thought you was going to throw a go route on the Baltimore Ravens defense, score, get the onside kick, and then tie the game up with try to get in field goal range, tie the game up? No possible way. And if I was the owners of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'd be calling Todd Bowles in today and say, hey, sit your ass right here, brother, right here. We need to talk. Why? Why are the starters still in the game with a minute and 4 seconds left, down 10 points, and we're already down a wide receiver? We already lost Mike Evans to a hamstring injury. Why is the starter still in the game? Down 10 points. You're not going to win this game. If you thought that you could have won this game, then you would have coached better the previous 3 quarters. You would have done a whole lot better. But you left your starters in the game down 10 points with a minute and 4 seconds, and it was 3rd and 17 from your own 18 when he got hurt. Well, I mean, we still had a shot to score some points, and, if you ask Chris, he'd want to be in the game. Of course he's going to say that. That's what he's going to say, but I guarantee you he wouldn't have had an issue or a problem if you'd have took him out. And you should have been smarter than that, knowing that you already lost your number one wide receiver to a hamstring injury and you keep him in the game? What the hell kind of coaching is that? No, I've never coached in the NFL, but I have coached football. And I know a couple of things about football. Now, listen, I haven't coached on that level, but I've coached middle school football. Hey, look, I know that's not the same as the NFL, but I do know that common sense tells me, hey, look, I got to get my players out the game. I cannot sustain an injury to a group that's already down its star player. Like what you're saying, Todd Bowles, does not make sense. And the reason why it doesn't make sense is because you already seen them take Mike Evans to the back. You already got the report that Mike Evans is not reporting back to the game. Why are you still having your number 2 wide receiver in the game? Listen, I don't care who was eligible to play. Okay, let's say you don't have enough wide receivers, right? You must have enough tight ends. You put another running back in there, just run the ball, run the clock out, get off the field, get healthy, and move on. But now we don't know how long Mike Evans is going to be out with that hamstring injury. And you've lost your number 2 wide receiver and Chris Godwin for the season, probably. He's probably lost for the season. So what are we doing here, Todd Bowles? And then, the one thing that really chapped my hide, now you young people ain't going to understand this. The one thing that really chapped my hide, and let me preface my statement by saying this. I am a huge Ryan Clark fan. Ryan Clark is like up there for me. He's one of the people that I look up to when it comes to this media thing. And what I mean by look up to, that man's work ethic is beyond belief. Like I got a work ethic. Ryan Clark got a work ethic too. Ryan Clark puts in that work. Ryan Clark does what he has to do. He puts in that work. I have a lot of respect for his work ethic. I have a lot of respect for the things that he says. I have a lot of respect for how he carries himself. And you think about it, he's on ESPN, the Pivot podcast, Inside the NFL, a lot of other things that he does as well. So I have nothing but the utmost respect for Ryan Clark. But you were wrong in defending Todd Bowles. You were wrong. And I get it. It's your old school mentality, your old school way of thinking, your old school brand of football. No, Ryan Clark, you're wrong on this one. And the reason why you're wrong is, yes, every football player wants to play. Right. Every football player wants to play. You know what, though? Every football player wants to play every game. And sometimes, you got to look at the overall, you got to look at the overall picture. One of my favorite sayings that I always tell everybody is, stop looking at the selfie and look at the panoramic view. Stop looking at the selfie and look at the panoramic pictures. Now, some of y'all don't even know what panoramic means. You only think that it's something on your phone that you never use. It's a feature on your phone that you never use, the panoramic view. Let me tell you how old school I am. When I was in high school, when you took your senior picture, everybody, had this time during the day, all the seniors and all the seniors and all the teachers and administrators would go out and they would stand on the bleachers and they'd take this picture. For those of you all who play football, it was your team picture. You go out there, you stand on the bleachers, they take the picture, bam, right? They take the whole picture. When it's given to you, it comes in a tube. It comes in a tube. You pull the picture out and you open it up to see the entire thing. You pull it out of the tube, you open it up. That's a panoramic view. It's the picture, the whole thing. Ryan Clark, what you should be saying is Todd Bowles and the decisions that he made on Monday night to keep his starters in that eventually got Chris Godwin hurt, because you can paint it however you want to paint it. He got Chris Godwin hurt. You paint it however you want to paint it. He got Chris Godwin hurt by not taking him out. You're looking at the selfie thinking that you could score some points and still win the game when you're down 41-31 with 1 minute and 4 seconds left on your own 18 and it's 3rd and 17. That's the selfie view. You know what the panoramic view is? The panoramic view is we have a whole lot of football left this season. Hey, look, let's just go ahead and count this as a loss. Did we compete tonight? Sure. We competed. Do you still want your players in there competing? Of course. What is the smarter thing to do? Of course, you can say hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is 2020. We're playing Tuesday morning quarterback, armchair quarterback. I got all of that because there exists a world where Chris Godwin doesn't get hurt, but you don't want to take those chances. You lose to the Baltimore Ravens. That's an AFC loss. You're still trying to contend to get to the NFC Championship game. You're still trying to win the NFC South. And with the way Carolina is playing, you have an opportunity. With the way that New Orleans is playing, you have an opportunity. The Falcons lost, you had an opportunity. I got all them right. Carolina, the Saints. Right? Carolina, the Saints. It's Carolina, the Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Falcons. Right? I got the 4 teams right. AD, I got them right, right? Right. You still have an opportunity. But now you're down. You're one of your best players, and you don't know when your number one wide receiver is coming back. So what happens now? What happens now, Todd Bowles? What happens now, Ryan Clark? Now you're scrambling to try to fill those spaces. Whereas if you already lost Mike Evans for the game, then guess what you can do? Hey, look, we can insert Chris Godwin. We know what he can do. Hey, let's get him out the game. Hey, look, let's just err on the side of caution. But you didn't. You left him in the game because you thought that you could still win the game. And Ryan Clark, I understand what you're saying. I understand that old school football way, that old school football mentality, but this is 2024. That may have worked back in the 90s, in the early 2000s. That may have worked. That mindset, it could have worked. You could have got away with that. But y'all are upset that the media kept asking him over and over, why was Godwin in the game? Why was Godwin in the game? And you're saying, no way, no possible way that you all think that football players show up to play and don't want to compete. They competed. They didn't compete well enough. They didn't compete well enough. The Baltimore Ravens put their foot on their necks and they let up. When the Baltimore Ravens were done, they were done. And they got Lamar Jackson out the game. Hey, we're good. Let's go. Everybody, let's go. So, as I digress, Todd Bowles, this is on you. This is your fault. Take some accountability. Stop trying to pass it off and say, stop trying to pass it off to competition. Stop trying to pass it off and say that Chris Godwin would have wanted to be in the game and competing with the rest of his teammates. Stop trying to pass everything off and take accountability for your mistake. This is your mistake. It falls on you. And if the Buccaneers season goes down the drain because they don't have Chris Godwin and they don't have Mike Evans, and now they're scrambling to try to get wide receivers, that's on you. You don't have the protection that Kyle Shanahan has out in San Francisco. He's lost Brandon Ayuk for the season. Deebo Samuels is sick. And depending on how he recovers this week, he may not be able to play. They may be on a bye week. I don't know. But I know Deebo Samuels is sick. Brandon Ayuk is out for the season. It's a likely chance that Christian McCaffrey is out for the season. But Kyle Shanahan has a leg to stand on because they know exactly what he can do. Todd Bowles, you don't have that leg to stand on. You needed to be doing everything you could to win this game, and you didn't. And you lost a player, and that's on you. And Ryan Clark, you got to hold him accountable. Hey, step away from being a former football player. Step into on the media side, which you are, and say, no, it wasn't right. At least not in my eyes. All right. Once again, tune into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Just talk it out Tuesday. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this Big Sarge chain of command rankings. Now, you know how this goes, right? Right? In the Army, the command sergeant major is the highest and the sergeant is the lowest. Well, actually, the corporal is the lowest. And so with these rankings, I go 1 through 5 and then 5A. So command sergeant major is 1. First sergeant is 2. Sergeant first class is 3. Staff sergeant is 4. Sergeant is 5. And corporal is like 5A. Let's jump right into it. All right. Command Sergeant Major. Check that off. Baltimore Ravens at 5-2. Now, some of you all are going to say, how can you have a 5-2 team over an undefeated Kansas City Chiefs team? I'll tell you how. It's easy. It isn't hard. I'll tell you. The Baltimore Ravens look like the best team in football right now. Hands down. They look like the most complete team in football right now. And even at 5-2, and I know that they got some bad losses on their record, but even at 5-2, they look like they are the best team in the NFL. In 7 games, well, hold on. Let me preface my statement by saying this. Hey, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, they're an unstoppable force. And I mean that with every fiber of my being. They are an unstoppable force. It is hard to stop Lamar Jackson. And then if you stop him, now you got to stop Derrick Henry. So when you stop Lamar from rushing and you stop Derrick Henry from rushing, then how are you going to stop Lamar's arm? In 7 games, Derrick Henry has rushed for 873 yards. 7 games, 873 yards. Lamar Jackson has passed for 1,810 yards. They average 210 yards rushing per game and have 10 touchdowns, and they average 250 yards with 15 touchdowns. They're the number 1 offense in the league. So how are you stopping a team that can rush for 210 yards and pass for 250 yards? Has a total of 25 touchdowns on offense and has the number 1 offense in the league. There's no possibility. They are the best team in football. That's why I have them ranked number 1. And there's other teams that could make an argument, but they can't make a stronger argument than this. What we've watched over the last couple of weeks when it comes to this Baltimore Ravens team, that they finally got it together and they're playing with that 1-2 punch of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, they're unstoppable. They're the best team in football, hands down. No matter what their record is, the eye test will tell you. Now, some of you analytical nerds are going to go out there and say, but the analytics says the DVOA and the EPA and the EPOCPL elemental piece says that this team is doing better than now. Look at the eye test. Watch games. Listen, I despise analytical nerds who don't watch games and just watch numbers. I despise it. Because how are you looking at that? How are you looking at these games and saying to yourself, this team ain't the best? Hold on. Ravens defense mid. They not the best team. Offensive, yes, but that defense trash. Okay, Dizzy, if I'm pronouncing that right. Let me just say this. When you have the number 1 offense in the NFL, when you have a running back that has almost rushed for 1,000 yards, close to 1,000 yards in the second game, in the next game that he plays in, probably going to rush for over 1,000 yards in 8 games. When your offense is averaging 210 yards in rushing, 250 yards in passing, 25 total touchdowns, the number 1 offense in the league, you know what that does? Let's just use the rushing attack. That keeps the defense off the field. They have the best rushing attack. 210 yards is a lot of rushing yards. You know what that also is? Eating up a lot of clock. Now, Derrick Henry will bust out for a lot of long runs. Derrick Henry gets out and he gets a lot of long runs, right? But that's just a testament to who he is and how he can, break at any time, which is really weird that a man that big, pause, no diddy, can get up to that maximum amount of speed, pause. What does that do? That eats up the clock. So even if you are saying that their defense is mid, and I wouldn't say that they were mid, I'm just saying I don't think that they're played up to their best potential so far, but I think that they can. But when they're on the sidelines, while your offense is chewing up the clock, they ain't got to be great. They don't have to be the old Baltimore Ravens defense with when they had Ray Lewis. They don't have to be that. They don't have to be that. I can't remember. 80, what year was that? What year was that they had that really good defense and they won the Super Bowl in New Orleans remember after Beyonce performed, the lights went out. I'm like, come on, NFL, y'all trying to make it that obvious. Oh, all of a sudden the lights went out. Yeah, because the Ravens was dog walking the 49ers, and then they got back into the game after the long delay because the lights went out. Beyonce performed so good that the lights went out. So, as I digress, you don't need to have a great defense when you got the number one offense in the NFL who can eat up the clock. And by the time the fourth quarter comes and the opposing defense is still trying to stop Derrick Henry, this man only gets stronger as he goes on. As he goes on, he only gets stronger. So, Command Sergeant Major, Baltimore Ravens, number one in the Big Sarge chain of command rankings. All right, First Sergeant, the Detroit Lions, who are 5-1. They have the number 2 offense in the league. They beat the undefeated Vikings, and Jared Goff looks good. Now, I never thought that those words would come out of my mouth. I never thought that those words would come out of my mouth where I say Jared Goff looks good. But Jared Goff looks good. You can't deny him that. And look, no matter how much I want to be, how much I want to hate on him, I can't hate on Jared Goff. Jared Goff looks good. And if it wasn't for Lamar Jackson, right? If it wasn't for Lamar Jackson, because he's by far and away blowing out the MVP votes this year. I think they've already started a campaign to get him his third MVP. They're calling it MV3. MV3, his third MVP of the year. Of his career. When you look at what Lamar Jackson is doing, he's blowing everybody out the water. But right there with him, right underneath him, pause, is Jared Goff. Jared Goff has completed 73.6% of his passes. Since the loss to Tampa Bay in week 1, when he went 33 for 55, he's gone 76 for 91, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, and has passed for 1,086 yards. 73.6% completion percentage. Listen, that may not mean a lot to some of you all, but that is good. That is damn good. That is really good. And even though they lost Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side of the ball, and even though they're going to go run into some struggles later on in the season playing some of these teams that are going to take advantage of Aiden Hutchinson being out, they beat an undefeated team in their division this past weekend. And Jared Goff looks good. Now, they may be without Jameson Williams for 2 games. He's going to get suspended. The word on the street is he's going to get suspended for violating the NFL substance abuse policy. Hey, side note. Why everybody getting busted for substance abuse? What is new on the list that these players are getting busted with? It got to be something new. Because for the most part, the rules don't change. They know what they can take and what they can't take. What is new on this list that is getting these players busted like this? Now, I've only been reading about Jameson Williams, the wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, maybe being suspended for 2 games. I know Houston Texans fans wish it was 3 because they play the Detroit Lions in 3 games. Who do they got? They got the Colts next. Then they got the Jets, and then I think they have the Lions. And so, you may get a Jameson Williams coming back who's really, really, really upset that he had to sit out them 2 games, and he's going to be very motivated. But hey, look, by the same token, you're also, is that the game Nico comes back? AD, is the Lions game the game Nico comes back? Let me look at the schedule real quick. Schedule. La da 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 da. La da da. La da da. So he was out. He got hurt in the Bills game. He sat out the Patriots game. He sat out the Packers game. He got to sit out the Colts game. He got to sit out the Jets game. Yes, it's going to be a good game. That's going to be a good game, and that's definitely going to be a game that they need him. Definitely going to be a game that the Houston Texans need Nico Collins. But at my first sergeant position, I got the Detroit Lions as the number 2 team in the NFL. Sergeant First Class in my Big Sarge chain of command rankings. Number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 6-0. They just keep winning, but they just look inconsistent. I'm sorry. They just look so inconsistent. And listen, if it Chiefs fans, because I know y'all are the ones that get upset, and the Chiefs Nation, boy, they will come at you like no other. Like, and especially now that they got Taylor Swift fans on their side too. Oh my goodness. Well, them Taylor Swift fans and them Kansas City Chiefs fans, they unite and they will come after you if they don't like what you say about the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, with that being said, one of the reasons why I have an undefeated team at number 3 in my Sergeant First Class position at number 3 is because they look inconsistent. And what's bad for the Kansas City Chiefs is I am judging them off of their past success. I am. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs are a dynasty. Like, when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they are a dynasty. They're a dynasty like how the San Francisco 49ers was, the Dallas Cowboys were, the New England Patriots were. Like, this Kansas City Chiefs team is a dynasty. And so, even though they're undefeated and you're watching them, you're judging them off the past success. You're judging them off of what Patrick Mahomes can do, what Travis Kelce can do, what that defense can do. So when you get to judging them like that, and then you look at the inconsistencies in which they are playing, come on now. Y'all tell me, yeah, they 6-0, but they could easily be 3-3. They are undefeated, the only undefeated team left in the NFL, but they could be 3-3. So that's why I can't put them over the Ravens or the Lions. All right, number 4, my staff sergeant position, the Minnesota Vikings. They're 5-1. They lost to a good Lions team. Like, when you lose to the number 2 team in the NFL, as per my rankings, you ain't got nothing to hold your head down. That was your first loss of the season. You took care of business everywhere else, and you lost to a better team on that day. You lost to a better team. You get a chance and an opportunity to play them again because they are in your division, but you get a chance to play them again. And so, maybe next time around, you all can complete the mission. I think that you all jumped out to a 10-0 lead. I think that the Vikings jumped out to a 10-0 lead, if I'm not mistaken. But the problem is, you know what? Hold on, y'all. Y'all give me a second, because y'all know I don't like to give y'all what just what I think. I like when we're dealing with things like this, you have to deal in facts and absolutes. And so I want to deal in facts and absolutes. And so they lost 31-29. Yes, they jumped out to a 10-0 lead on the Detroit Lions in the first quarter. Then they gave up 21 points in the second quarter, went into half down 21-10. And then they scored 19 points in the second half, while the Lions scored 10 points. And I think that the Lions beat them on a game-winning field goal in Minnesota, right? I think that was in Minnesota. Yeah, that was in Minnesota. And so when you lose to a team like that, when you lose to a team like that in the Detroit Lions, you just got to tip your hat to them, say good game, and move on. I got you at number 4 this week at the staff sergeant position. Here's the funny thing about it, though, y'all. Here's the funny thing about it. Let me tell you, the Vikings are currently 5-1. Let me tell you their next 5 games. They play the Rams, the Colts, the Jags, the Titans, and the Bears. Rams, Colts, Jags, Titans, Bears. They could easily be 10-1. Like, after their next 5 games, we could turn right back around and say this is one of the best teams in football at 10-1. Now, is there a likelihood that they're going to run the table and go 5-0? I don't know. Any given Sunday, we know that anything could happen on any given Sunday. And so you look at it, and they could potentially lose to the Bears, or they could lose to the Bears and maybe drop a game against the Colts. And then now they're 3-2 in that 5-game stretch. But there's a likelihood that they could go 5-0 and they end up being 10-1. All right. Let's go to number 5, Sergeant position. I got the Washington Commanders at 5-2. And even though they beat Carolina without their star rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, this could change because Jaden Daniels went down, I think, on the first play with a rib injury. And his coach says that he's week to week. So we don't know how long he's going to be out with this rib injury, but he could be out for a significant amount of time. And you're not going to play the Carolina Panthers every week. Hey, look. Hey, so I'm in the minivan right now, right? I'm in the minivan on the highway. Hey, I'm gonna take the feeder for a second. Just ride the feeder for a second before I get back on the highway. Let me ride on the feeder for a second. Carolina, you said Bryce Young was the problem. Now on Wednesday, we're gonna do our hot seat Wednesdays. We're gonna do our hot seat Wednesdays, and I'm gonna tell you about the 5 coaches who are on the hot seat this week. And I'm gonna give you a preview of it right now. The Carolina Panthers head coach should be on the hot seat. You all benched Bryce Young and said he was the issue. When I told you that, what do you want? Listen, Jesus made wine out of water. Jesus turned water into wine. Bryce Young can't do that with that roster. Y'all gave Bryce Young ramen noodles and said make a meal. You know the only meal he can make with that roster and them ramen noodles and a couple more ingredients? Spread. Now, hey, Corey, you still here? Corey, you still here? Now watch this, y'all. I'm about to get all these comments dropped over here in just a second because, like, the real ones know what spread is. The real ones know what spread is. And for those of you all who don't, because I do like to educate on the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, I like to bring you up to speed. Let me tell y'all what spread is. Spread is a jailhouse concoction. Spread is a prison cuisine. It's a concoction that consists of the basis is the ramen noodles and then whatever else you want to put in there. So sometimes you got ramen noodles, you'll throw Doritos in there, you'll throw some cheese spread in there, you may throw a Snicker in there. You may throw a Snicker in there, you may have some popcorn. Like, spread is whatever it is you want it to be. But the basis of spread is the ramen noodles. Now, y'all want some homework? Go to YouTube, type in how to make jailhouse spread, and you will be amazed at how innovative these young men and women are at making spread. Let me tell y'all something. One day I went down the rabbit hole of prison cuisine, and I seen somebody make a whole cake in prison. A whole cake. And I'm saying to myself, how? What? Wait, huh? How did it happen? I'm so confused. Hey, hold on. Senor Buble, you gonna tell on yourself. Wait a minute, hold on. Dizzy say I can show you how to make food in a dryer. What? Spread results in toilet bowl full. Spread, you talking that TDC stuff. So, once again, if you want to know what spread is, go to YouTube and type in jailhouse spread. Or wait, no. I can't tell you to type in jailhouse spread. No. Because then y'all gonna come back, you gonna be like, Sarge, you told me to type that in, and you don't want to know what I seen. No. Because this October 2024, Diddy been in jail for a minute. I don't know what's gonna pop up on Jailhouse Spread. Hey, listen, to all my potential sponsors out there, I did not mean it that way. Hand over heart, Sarge is sorry. I apologize. Go in and type in how to make jailhouse or prison spread. And they're going to show you the basis is noodles. And then you just add all the other ingredients. And in prison, that's like going to a 5-star restaurant. In the regular world, that ain't no stars. And if you go to somebody's house and they say, hey, what you making? Spread, you be like, no, you know what? I'm good. And I'm gonna go ahead and you know what? My mama had asked me to come over and count the grass. Oh, bro, you cut the grass, you need some help. No, not cut the grass. I gotta go count the grass for my mama because the homeowners association is tripping. They say if you got too many blades of grass, you gonna get in trouble. So I gotta go and help my mama count the grass, bro. Don't stay at nobody's house that's making jailhouse spread. Oh, you no. One, you'll be like, what is this? Two, next thing you know, you caught up in some type of scam. And they asking you, hey, so what's your auntie job again? You know her social security number? No. Spread in prison, food wise, prison cuisine spread. That's great for in prison. In the real world, it's terrible. In the real world, it's nasty. In the real world, you should not be eating it. And that's what the Carolina Panthers wanted Bryce Young to do. They wanted Bryce Young to make spread in Carolina. They wanted Bryce Young to make jailhouse the jailhouse cuisine or the prison cuisine spread with the basis being noodles, and then you just make it work. Throw everything else in there and you make it work. No. So, no. The Carolina Panthers, y'all got some issues and y'all got some problems. I digress because we got to move on. Number 5 at the sergeant position once again is the Commanders at 5-2. They beat the Carolina Panthers without their star rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels. We don't know how long he's going to be out. You can beat the Carolina Panthers with a backup quarterback. You can definitely do that. And so 5A at the corporal position. And if those of you all who know, let me explain it to you one more time. I mean, those of y'all who don't know, let me explain it to you once again. A corporal is a non-commissioned officer that's not a non-commissioned officer. He has all of everything he needs. He's just waiting on the points so he can be promoted to the E5 rank. So he's like a super E4. And so in the E4 rank, you have a specialist and you have a corporal. So once they remove that specialist and give you that corporal, that's almost like you're a junior NCO for real. Like it holds the weight almost as much as what a E5 is telling you to do. And so that's right there. So that's why I always throw in a corporal. And at the corporal spot, which is the 5A, I have the Houston Texans at 5-2. They lost a tough one to the Green Bay Packers. No excuses. They lost. They have a lot of offensive issues. The Houston Texans have a lot of offensive issues. And so let me go back and break it down one more time for you. From number 1 to 5A. You have the at Command Sergeant Major, you have the Baltimore Ravens. At the first sergeant, you have the Detroit Lions. Sergeant First Class, you have the Kansas City Chiefs. Staff sergeant, you have who did I have at the staff sergeant position? I just said the Minnesota Vikings. At the sergeant position, you had the Washington Commanders, and at the corporal position, you have the Houston Texans. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got that right. Ravens number 1, Lions number 2, Chiefs number 3, Vikings number 4, Commanders number 5, and coming in at 5A is the Houston Texans, who have a lot of offensive issues. And let's jump right into that. All right. Once again, you're tuned to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter, the Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Hey, you know what, y'all? Let me do something right quick. Y'all hold on one second. Can I get a couple of minutes? Let me get a couple of minutes, y'all. Let me go live right quick. Let me go live right quick on IG. All right. Texans needs, y'all like that title? Texans needs to take notes. Let's do that, y'all. And one thing that I love about the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, one thing that I do love about the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, not only the fact that it's interactive, not only the fact that it's live, like it's live, y'all. It's live. Yeah, we right here. I'm live and in color. Hold on. Let me move that out the way. Let me see if I can. Come on, Sarge. Get it together. Live. Add a title. I don't know how many people, but I don't want them to miss out on this. I don't want my people who support me on IG to miss out on this, because this is gonna be a good one, and I think that you all need to they need to hear this just as much as you all do. But the one thing Texans needs, it don't matter if it's capitalized or not. To take notes. The one thing that I love about doing this show live, the one thing that I love about being here with you live and colored. Okay, black man. Hold on. Will you be at homecoming? Nah, I won't make it to homecoming this year. I'm gonna probably make it next year, but I won't be able to make it to Prairie homecoming this week. So, all right, y'all, we here. Hey, to all my IG people, hello, how y'all doing? Hey, make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Let me see if I can get this right. Let me just do it that way. Let me get this camera right. There we go. About as good as it's gonna get. At Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Because y'all know we do everything for the gram. All right, speaking of live, the H-Town Rundown will be going live tonight. Hold on, let me go ahead and pull both in there. With the All 22 review on YouTube and the app formerly known as Twitter. There you go. Hey, make sure y'all following the H-Town Rundown. Get them a like, subscribe, comment, everything. They everywhere. They everywhere. They even do Houston Rocket stuff that AD don't never ever consult me on as far as anything. So yeah, better be glad we're talking football, because when we talk basketball on tomorrow, because I do have to go to the Houston Rockets practice today, we will get a chance to talk to we will get a chance to speak with Alperen Şengün and Jalen Green about them signing their contract extensions. Hold on. Got that right, Sarge. I watching the film. It's all tight as how Lily fall back at the snap and nobody touched him and allow Stroud to get sacked. We got to get there. We got to get there. Hold on. Plug my cleaning company. Sorry. Well, what's up, Pastor George? Put your cleaning company up there. I'm gonna plug it right now. Pause. Put your cleaning company up there though. And hey, listen, I'm gonna pop it up right here on the screen. This is live. And y'all, my family, y'all join me every day, and I love it and I appreciate that. But let's go ahead and jump right into this thing. All right. So, Bobby Slowik, Houston Texans offensive coordinator. And you got to take some notes, Bobby. You got to take some notes, Bobby. And the reason why I say you got to take notes is because offense didn't look good in the 24-22 loss to the Green Bay Packers. We've talked about that at what is it called? Ad nauseum. AD, you went to Texas A&M. Tell me if I'm using that right. No, you went to Prairie View first. Use your Prairie View side. Use the Prairie View side of your brain. Ad nauseum. We've talked about how bad the Houston Texans offense looked on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. I've talked about it on Locked On Texans. I talked about it in my post-game video. It's on YouTube. I talked about, you all heard it on the radio. You heard it on television. You talked about it on social media. Talked about it in spaces. That's cool. We all know that the Houston Texans offense did not show up on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers in that 24-22 loss. And if they would have just showed up on at least two more offensive possessions, they would have won that game. They just needed two. They just need to step up on two offensive possessions. But what you can't have, what you can't revert back to after scoring 27 points in the second half against the New England Patriots, you revert right back to your old habits and don't score over 10 points in the second half again. The 5 possessions that the Houston Texans had in the second half on Sunday: punt, field goal. Have we or have we not seen that before? Have we not seen punt, touchdown, punt, field goal to win the game? Yes, they got some ugly wins. They did. They've had some ugly wins here. And they normally that would have got that field goal by Fairbairn would have won them the game. But hey, raise your hand in the comment section if you went back and you're watching the Houston Texans play against the Green Bay Packers and you say, wait a minute, this damn game looks awfully familiar. This game looks awfully familiar. Oh, I know where I seen this game before. Against the Atlanta Falcons last year, when C.J. Stroud hit Dalton Schultz for what should have been the game-winning touchdown, and then the opposing team, the Atlanta Falcons, drove down, kicked the game-winning field goal. Except this time, the Houston Texans offense played for a field goal. And that's the one thing that Bobby Slowik is going to have to answer for. Why my cowboy hat looks so crooked? That's the one thing that Bobby Slowik is going to have to answer for on Thursday when he speaks to the media. I know I'm going to be one of the ones. I don't care if he's asked 7 times. I'm going to ask him too. Hey, Bobby, what went into the last drive? Why was those play? Why were those plays called? Why was there no attempt to go towards the end zone? Even if you're going to throw out routes so you can protect the ball. Why? That last offensive drive that got them into field goal range, just like they got in the field goal range, and then they just sat down and it's like, you know what, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to kick the field goal. Well, if you're going to kick the field goal, don't leave them with any timeouts. You all have heard this before. This is Tuesday. This is Talk About It Tuesday. It happened. They lost. We're going to get over it. But I got to put some things into context. No possible way you should have left them. That field goal, I'm sorry. That field goal that they kicked, they had the timeout to do it. You don't want that. You want them to burn as much clock as you can. And that's on D'Amico and that's on Bobby. I said that on the Locked On Texans podcast. You all, like I said, you all have heard it. The fans talked about it on Spaces. The fans talked about it on social media. So we get that part. Now that we've gotten that out of our system, right? Now that we've gotten all of that out of our system, here's the one thing that Bobby Slowik should learn, right? In the 2 losses to the Minnesota Vikings and to the Green Bay Packers this season, what Bobby needs to go back and do when you're watching the film, don't just watch the film, Bobby, on the offensive side of the ball and what you all can do to get better on the offensive side of the ball as far as calling plays and things like that. Watch the Vikings offense and watch the Packers offense and watch what Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, and what Matt LaFleur, head coach of the Green Bay Packers, watch what they're doing on offense. Now, I know that they both have offensive coordinators, but the Texans got a defensive coordinator too, and we know who calls the majority of the plays. So if you don't think that Kevin O'Connell is calling the majority of the Vikings plays, if you don't think that Matt LaFleur is calling the majority of the Packers plays on offense, Bobby, what you need to do, especially as a second-year offensive coordinator, you need to watch and see some of the schemes that they're running. I know you want to continue to run the Kyle Shanahan offense. I know you want to continue to use variations of that 49ers offense, but there's a lot of people who know how to beat that offense. You went up against two teams whose defensive coordinators know how to beat that offense. Not only that, these NFC North teams have been exposing you, Bobby. All of these stunts, all of these mixing and these matching of defenders, all these blitz packages, that started in the Chicago Bears game. That started, go back, you all, look at that Chicago Bears game, and then tell me what went wrong. They were running a lot of stunts. They were mixing and matching on the defensive side of the ball. The Chicago Bears, who's in the NFC North, gave the rest of the league the blueprint. And if you have the players to be able to pull it off, like the Vikings did and like the Packers did, then you could beat that Houston Texans offense. And even with Nico Collins in the game, it may soften it up, soften the defense up just a little bit, but they're still going to run it until you show them that you can stop it. So with that being said, Bobby, what you need to do is you need to look at the offenses of the Vikings. You need to look at the offenses of the Packers and take notes. See what they're doing. Because for as much talent as you had, I know that you're missing Nico Collins. I know even right now, even though Nico has missed 2 games, he's still 4th as far as receiving yards is concerned in the NFL. I know you're missing one of your key weapons, but you still have Tank Dell, you still have Stephon Diggs, you still have Joe Mixon. And if you use them right, you got Dalton Schultz. So you still have a competent offense. The problem is your offensive sets are not fooling anyone. And when your offensive line isn't doing what it's supposed to do, when your offensive line isn't blocking the way that it's supposed to block, then you end up with what you had on Sunday with 86 passing yards, with CJ constantly under pressure, with CJ being sacked. Some of these long developing plays are happening because, Bobby, you're calling long developing plays. You're condensing the format. You're condensing the formations. No, you have enough talent to spread. Hey, look, spread that offense out. Spread that offense out. Spread that defense out. And even if you got to bring in Mechie and Hutch and go Mechie and Hutch and spread out, go 4 wides and leave Mixon in the back. Even if you don't plan on passing the ball to Mechie or Hutch, use them as a decoy so Tank and Diggs can do what they need to do. Now, I know that it's easy for me to say that sitting on this side because I don't have to call those plays. But as someone who's watching those plays, I'm saying to myself in real time too. Like, I'm watching them in real time, just like you're watching them in real time, Bobby. You may see a little bit different because you're on the field. I'm just looking from the press box down. But some of those plays that the Minnesota Vikings ran on offense, you can use those. Some of those plays that the Green Bay Packers ran, you can use those. You have the necessary tools. You have the necessary players. You have the necessary talent to run those type of things. When you look at the Packers offense, the Packers don't have a true number one wide receiver. Dobbs is not a true number one. Watson is not a true number one. Reed is not a true number one. They have a very good tight end in Kraft, and they have a very good running back in Josh Jacobs. And they have Jordan Love. The Texans have CJ Stroud. The Texans have Stephon Diggs, who still is a number one wide receiver to me in this league. You got a very good complementary piece in Tank Dell. And you can use Dalton Schultz or even get Cade Stover. And just like they have Josh Jacobs, you got Joe Mixon. So some of those plays that they're using, some of those plays that the Packers use, hey, this is a copycat league. And don't be afraid to take from somebody else. The NFL is a copycat league. Take from whatever you need to make yourself successful. Who gives a damn what they say about, oh, well, why you can't just use your own offense? Why you got to use somebody else's offense? Who cares? You got to do what's going to make you successful. You have to do what's going to make the Texans successful. And you need to start being better. Because, Bobby, I'm going to tell you right now, if you wet the bed with this offense, if you wet the bed with this amount of talent and the Texans don't get to where they need to get to, I know the offensive line has to be better. On the Locked On Texans podcast, we talked about that. On the Locked On Texans podcast, we talked about maybe reshuffling some of that offensive line. We talked about maybe firing Chris Strasser and getting somebody else in because, like, if this line is still unable to pick up stunts in week 7, if this line can't pick up the mixing and the matching that's going on and all of everything that's going on pre-snap in week 7, then that's a them issue and a coaching issue. I don't know how many people see D'Amico's press conference on Monday, but he's fed up and he's tired of it, and he is not happy. He's one of the ones that will make a change. And if that means reshuffling that offensive line, that means getting a new getting somebody else to coach the offensive lineman, that's what he's going to do. He's all about making his team successful. Bobby, you're going to have to do that as well. Because for all that boy wonder, boy genius that you had going on, I don't know. Kevin O'Connell was the offensive coordinator for 2019 for the Commanders. He was the offensive coordinator for the Rams in 2020 and 2021. Matt LaFleur was the Rams offensive coordinator in 2017, Titans in 2018, and he's been calling the plays for the Packers since 2019. Here's the funny part. Side note, right? The Texans have had some really good offensive minds come through the organization. They had Kyle Shanahan when he was offensive coordinator. They had Matt LaFleur as an offensive assistant. They had Mike McDaniel as an offensive assistant. We know Gary Kubiak, like they've been here and they all know each other. Bobby has worked with them as well. And so take some of that, Bobby. Use some of that. You don't have to just use all of the Kyle Shanahan playbook because that's where you were before you became the offensive coordinator with the Houston Texans. And I get it. You are an analytical guy. You started out calling defense. I think that you became like an offensive quality control guy. And now you and D'Amico work very close together, hand in hand. And listen, Bobby has a brilliant offensive mind, though. I will say that. I just don't understand why it hasn't been applicable to this season. Because when I look at the Houston Texans at 5-2, I could make a case that the Texans could. I can make a case that the Texans should be undefeated, 6-1 at best. I can make that case that the Houston Texans should be 6-1 at best. That Minnesota Vikings game, that they just look bad. They just dropped the ball on that one. They just dropped the ball. But Bobby, like there's only a +6 differential between points for and points allowed for the Houston Texans. +6. Go and look at all the other teams that are either undefeated. Well, look at the other team that's undefeated as far as the Kansas City Chiefs are concerned. Then look at like the Vikings and look at like the Lions and look at the Ravens and look at these other teams. And the Houston Texans are the only one at +6. I think the other team that is +6 like that is the Colts. The Colts. And when you look at the AFC South, the Houston Texans, to me, are head and shoulders above everybody else in that division, especially the Colts, especially the Titans, especially the Jags. And so, without a shadow of a doubt, you should be winning the AFC South. But let me tell you something, Bobby. These Houston Texans fans, AFC South is not going to be enough. AFC South is not going to be enough. Winning a wild card game is not going to be enough. Just going to a divisional is not. No. This AFC championship or bust with the amount of talent that you have and with the amount of talent that's on the opposite side of the ball. The defense played well and they didn't have 4 starters and they kept getting the ball back for the offense. And every time they got the ball back for the offense dropped the ball. Like they just couldn't get it going. You had 4 consecutive punts. And so the defense played well, down 4 starters against a very good Green Bay Packer offense. Now, side note, I know that a lot of the Packers fans still mad at me, but I don't care because I was right. I told you Jordan Love will give the ball away. I told you that. And he had 2 interceptions. He should have had 4. That pass that he made to Kraft for the touchdown, that went through Kalen Bullock's hands. That should have been an interception. On that last drive, the one that Neville Hewitt tipped the ball up, Eric Murray could have gotten that. He just didn't get to it. That's 4. And I told you going into that game, y'all didn't have a consistent number 1 wide receiver. Those wide receivers didn't look good. You can pump Romeo Doubs up all you want to. You can say what Romeo Doubs, blah, 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 blah. I watched. No. Dobbs didn't look good. He ain't no number 1. He's number 1 maybe for y'all, but he ain't no number 1 in the NFL. Nobody's going to be like, hey, let me make Romeo Doubs my number 1 wide receiver. Christian Watson didn't look good. Jaden Reed definitely didn't look good. And Josh Jacobs looked okay. Side note, Tim Settle told you what he's going to do. He ain't knock your helmet off, but you knew he was there. Don't try to downplay Tim Settle like you didn't know who he was. Don't try to downplay Tim Settle like you hadn't been watching, knowing that man is a violent coming from the defensive tackle position. Tim Settle had a damn good game. He backed up everything he said. And you know what? Coming into the game against the Colts, Tim Settle ain't finna change who he is. He's going to be the exact same person. So you could downplay him and try to act like, oh, some defensive lineman, this, that, and other. I'm pretty sure you knew exactly where he was. Because 1, you were probably trying to embarrass him. And then 2, you realized you couldn't. You like, damn, this dude could really play. I digress. I got to get ready to get up out of here because I got to head over to the over to the Rockets training facility. That's very nice. But before I go, I got one more question. And I need y'all to drop into the comments and I need y'all to answer this. I need y'all to drop into the comments and I need y'all to answer this question. Hey, how often have we seen CJ Stroud audible? How often have we seen CJ Stroud audible? And because my thing is, I don't know if I've seen it a lot this season. And with the amount of things that's going on pre-snap, with the amount of things that's going on, I don't know. Now the question becomes, can he audible? And I don't mean physically. Yes, we know physically he can audible. But is the play, the 1-2 play that's called, whatever the case may be, or the second play that's called, that can he use it? Like he should be able to use it, right? That's my question. Hold on. Let me see what Dizzy had to say. Yes, as much as they claim CJ had control over the offense, it doesn't look like he does, though. Exactly. Hold on. You have to play to the strength of your team. This O-line is not the Detroit Lions O-line. And I get that. I definitely understand when you get a better line to run long developing routes, play to CJ's strength. Yes. But that's the question that I have. Maybe somebody else can answer. Drop it in the comments. Hey, am I missing something? All right, I gotta say goodbye to my hold on, let me wave to my people over at IG because I gotta get ready to get up out of here. Y'all are amazing. I'm gonna start going earlier so y'all can see some of the whole show, because I'm tell you right now, this one of them ones, y'all. This one of them ones. This show right here, this one of them ones. You don't want to miss it. Look at my hat, man. Let me do my hat. All right. You call it, we ball it. What that mean? Oh, I got it. I got it, AD. So before I get ready to get up out of here, once again, y'all, I got a question to ask. I got to ask this question. When was the last time you seen CJ audible? Like, okay, I seen him audible on Sunday, but I'm starting to think back to the other 6 games, and I'm saying, when have I seen him audible? And when they're running all these things, and when and I know that he's able, even with all the pre-snap movement from the defense, there's some keys that he knows exactly what's coming, and he can see that. And so, can he audible to quicker plays? And by audibling into quicker plays, will that be able to by audible into quicker plays, can that help the offensive line? And can that show Bobby that some of these plays you're calling are long and developing plays, and I don't have the time to be able to get these plays off? Let me see. You call it, we ball it. Sarge asked them what happened to the quick plays. The short plays need to get the ball out faster. Yep. Can't audible because they get to the line too late. You know what? Derek Dynasty, that's what I'm talking about. That's it right there, y'all. If y'all were looking for the comment of the day, this is the comment of the day. Well, outside of our spread talk, I digress. Can't audible because they get to the line too late. Why are they getting to the line too late? Because these offensive plays. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, and John and I talked about this on the Locked On Texans podcast. I need to see some tempo, and by tempo, I need to see some no huddle. I need to see some get up and some go. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Let CJ call 3 plays in the huddle and say, them the 3 plays we're gonna run. Because by getting to the line too late, you're allowing the defense to get themselves set up and see exactly what you're going to do. You don't have no variations. Listen, you can put tank in motion all you want, but there's got to be some different variations to this to this offense to help CJ out. You got to pick the tempo up. You got to move faster. You got to move with a purpose. And that's what Bobby needs to understand. You've got to move with a purpose. You're coming to the line with little to almost no time left to hike the ball, which probably doesn't give CJ the amount of time to give CJ enough time to audible into something else. But you got to find ways to pick up the tempo for CJ. What's up, Lou? Lou says the problem is we have no rush beaters, quick hitters, slants. I think you do, but you got to be able to run quicker plays. Like every time they run those little slant plays and those little out routes to like Diggs or to like Tank, especially since they don't have Nico, hey, you get them going. And as soon as they get, hey, you catch the ball, cool, hand it to the rep. Hey, let's get to the line. Let CJ call the plays from the line if he has to. It ain't like he don't know the plays. It ain't like he can't read defenses. It isn't like he doesn't have the accuracy to be able to get the ball to wherever it needs to get to. Hey, he can do it. Let him do it. Let me read some more of these before I get out of here. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Frat. Seems that our play calls take too long. By the time we get to the line, there's 7 to 10 seconds left. Yep. Can't get open when you're bunched in. Another comment of the day. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier, AD. Too many condensed formations. And I don't even know why you're doing that. You want to run the ball, you got a running back who can run the ball out of 4 wides. He's going to make something happen because he always runs angry. But when you bunch it up like that, and then you're trying to pass out of those formations, no. On top of you're passing out of these formations with these long developing plays. Hard to get open when, but yep, exactly. Let me see what Dizzy had to say. The problem is Bobby has everyone running deep routes with no check, except the running back. Exactly. When one of the check downs should be, okay, if you got Dare or Joe in there, if they're going to be a check down on one side, K Stover can be a check down on the other side. Dalton Schultz can be a check down on the other side. And when he does have check down options, line can't hold up. Great observation. They looked overwhelmed Sunday. Exactly. Them boys over there on Kirby are playing Madden, not NFL football. Now, if they's playing Madden, they call me Mr. Nobody, then Bobby Woods should be holding down the triangle. Because I know when I used to play Madden, hey, look, I find the play that I like. This is the play that I'm going to work. I also know all of my hot routes. I know all of my reads. And I know all of my audibles. I know how to flip the play. So when I run the play, I'm holding down the triangle and I'm getting to the line. And now, while he's the person I'm playing against is trying to make these adjustments, while they're trying to make the adjustments, I don't care. I'm gonna run what I want to run. You still over there trying to get it together, and I'm gonna keep doing that. It affects the assignments online because there's no time to call out the protections. To be honest, no, you don't. You don't. You have a defense that's great at takeaways. You don't have a great defense. You have a good defense. Don't get me wrong. You don't have a good defense. And Jimmy, hey, let me know. Hey, what's going on with Quay Walker? Have they said anything yet, or are we waiting until Wednesday to find out? This Quay Walker is really, really good. But you don't have a great defense. You have a good defense. I will say that. You do have a good defense. But when you're not taking the ball away, I can't say that. Because although you made the Texans look bad, don't forget about the week prior when y'all played the Arizona Cardinals and you didn't have no quarterback sacks and only 8 quarterback pressures. Like the week prior, you didn't. You did not. Our defense is stacked with first rounders. You got a good defense. Don't get me wrong. You have a really good defense, and y'all got the best of the Texans. But we're going to see how good your defense is because, I mean, you got to play the Vikings again. You got to play the Lions twice. And you even got to play the Chicago Bears. Like, I'm going to see how good your defense is. I talked about you're coming in here late. When I did my Big Sarge chain of command rankings, I had the Detroit Lions at number 2. Jared Goff is playing like an MVP. So I'm going to see how good your defense is. I'm going to see. Crazy part is we still should have won that game. And that's exactly what I said. They still should have won that game. That would be an excuse if our line was calling out protections. Hold on. Bobby looks like it looks like he does not have any urgency in him. This is a very true statement. Hey, Jimmy, over here on the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, we don't know. We ain't over here just to troll. We over here to really talk. We talk sports over here. So yes, I want to give you. And like I said, look at that. See that? My wife's a Packers fan. So I know everything about the Green Bay Packers. I knew everything about the Green Bay Packers coming in. But on this show, Jimmy, we talk real over here. And if you make a good point, I am going to put that up there. I ain't out here to troll. I'm out here to be informative, knowledgeable, and entertaining. You missed about the prison cuisine. You know how to make spread, Jimmy? Jimmy, have you ever made spread in prison? Just saying. Let's see. But the offensive line be silent, unlike Green Bay. You can hear their line calling out protections through the damn TV. Exactly. Now, Dizzy, I'm gonna tell you this. That may fall back on Juice. And Juice is going to have to become better. Juice has to be the quarterback of that offensive line. He has to become more vocal, and he has to be able to call out everything that's happening. Somebody get Buda Baker here and let Eric Murray play special teams. Hold on for a second. I was on Locked On Packers last week. That's where y'all Packers fans came from me. But hey, look, I just said what I felt. Hey Jimmy, let me tell you something. I never do anything for likes. I never do anything for views. I just speak. I just talk. Everybody on here will tell you, hey, look, Sarge stands 10 toes down on what he said. So everything I said on Locked On Packers, I believe. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not afraid to say when I'm wrong. Like I said on this show, you come over here, I'll tell you, hey, look. Let's see. I don't understand why Packer fans are so over the moon. We was injured and still almost won. You guys at full strength. That's nothing to brag about. And here's my thing, right? So I get what you're saying, street runners. And I said leading up to that game on numerous occasions, I'm not going to use the injuries as an excuse. I'm not going to use the fact that they had 4 defensive starters as an excuse, because if you know anything about D'Amico Ryans, you know that he is a coach that can coach up talent. And, looking back on the game, of course, D'Angelo Ross got beat for a touchdown. Jake Hansen should have played that play to that touchdown to Josh Jacobs a little bit better on that pass. And Eric Murray could have come up with some better plays, but like the defense played well. Let me tell you something. Hold on, let me look at this. I got my stats right here. And so if you look in that second half, right? In that second half, after they scored the touchdown, the defense held them to 9 yards, -2 yards, and -6 yards. So they had, after that touchdown, they had to punt. They was 3 and out. They had to punt. They had to punt, 3 and out. Then they had to punt again, four plays. But they got a 9, -2, -6, and then they got that field goal. They had that 8-play, 39-yard drive. They got them 44 yards. So the defense the defense played well. The defense played well. They just didn't play well enough. And I think that they held them under their average. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't the Packers were averaging like 27 to 29 points. So, for all the talk that some of these Packer fans had to say about me, about what their offense was going to do, I mean, Jordan Love did not wow me at all. He wowed me on the pass. Don't get me wrong. And that pass to Kraft in the back of the end zone, that was wow. That should have been a pick. He had 2 interceptions. He should have had 4. Kalen Bullock should have came up with that interception. And Eric Murray should have came up with the other one to end the game. He didn't wow me. Dobbs didn't wow me. Jacobs did. Like the offense didn't wow me. Let's just keep it a buck. The defense wowed me. Now, this is a statement. Jimmy, we was doing so good. We were having some really good back and forth. And now you're saying Stroud can't read a defense? Jimmy, I listen. I think that you're a really good guy, Jimmy. I just met you, but I think that you're a really good guy based off some of your takes. I can't save you from the Texans fans on this one. And I had to show them what you said about their quarterback. To say that Stroud can't read a defense, that's just, maybe you have made jailhouse spread before. And I'm talking about the cuisine, not the Diddy. This may be a hot take, but Stingley needs to work on his open field tackling as well. Shut down corner, but he can't make tackles underneath. Hey, listen, there's a lot of shut down corners that couldn't make tackles, though. Listen, Deion Sanders is one of my favorite. He's my favorite. He's my number 1 defensive back of all time. One of the knocks on Deion Sanders, and especially when he came to the Cowboys, is that he did not like the tackle. Deion Sanders didn't like the tackle. You can go back and you can research that. Deion Sanders didn't like the tackle. Now you weren't finna complete no multitude of passes on him. You may complete some passes. You're not finna complete a lot of passes on him. He ain't like the tackle. You're not gonna find too many shutdown corners who like the tackle. Now Richard Sherman liked the tackle. That's different. Hold on. Thank you. A bunch of formation. Yeah, he was injured. You know what? What about the one man and two man applause? Do you think Juice can get it done? If not, I think Juice can get it done. I think Juice can. No excuse for the defense. I'm confident in any defensive player if D'Amico's coaching. Yep. 3 TDs isn't never good to give up. So let's break down the 3 TDs, Jimmy. The one on D'Angelo Ross, amazing. The one that Josh Jacobs was very good, a very good route. And if we're gonna really talk about it and break it down, let's really talk about it and break it down. Jake Hansen is a third string linebacker, and if you got Aziz in there, if you got Henry To'oTo'o in there, if you got Christian Harris in there, they don't make that false step. They don't make that false step to the outside and allow Jacobs to come back on the inside. What they do is they'll play because it was only a lineman in front of them. If you got To'oTo'o or Aziz or you got Christian Harris out there, what they do is they make him go to the outside where they know that they got safety over the top. They got safety playing in that back third. Even in the end zone, you got him playing there. But if you give him the inside where there's nobody, the safety can't come over fast enough to make the play. So what Jake Hansen should have done is, as soon as he recognized that play, seen the lineman in front of him, he should have jumped on the inside shoulder of the offensive lineman, force Josh Jacobs back to the sideline, force him back to the sideline where you have a cornerback over there and you have a safety and you have the sideline as a defender. So you make him do that. But when you got a linebacker who hasn't had a lot of starting reps, who hasn't played like a hell of a whole lot, he's going to make those type of things. So yes, the 3 touchdowns by Jordan Love was amazing. But you're not going to talk about the 2 interceptions and the 2 other near interceptions. Like, if we want to talk ball here, let's talk ball. Let's talk ball. We're not going to talk about the where are we at? We're not going to talk about the 9 yards, the -2 yards, and the -6 yards that he had in 3 possessions before he kicked the field goal. Like, if you're going to talk, let's talk. Let's talk. Packers fans have been talking all sorts of crazy stuff about Stroud. Yeah, I understand that. A lot of them do just want attention. A lot of them do just want attention. So, I told you, Jimmy. I told you. Yeah, exactly. I don't agree with this AD. I don't think that he's playing like he doesn't give a damn. I think he's playing knowing that he doesn't have the insurance of having great safety play over the top. So a lot of the times it looks like he's giving up a lot underneath. That's because he's not trying to get beat. And I understand the Patriots on that on the that one of the last plays of the first half, excuse me. One of the last plays first half, he gave up that touchdown to Butte. I got that part. That part, I like we talked about that last week. I just think that the way that he's playing is smarter because he knows that Eric Murray is back there, and he also has Kalen Bullock, who's a rookie that's coming into his own, but he knows that he really doesn't have any help behind him, so he has to play the way that he's playing. See. Packers still trying to figure out if they had a 3rd or 4th in their division. They will be 3rd or 4th in their division, excited about a 17-game season. Exactly. That's what I said. I said that the Packers are The Packers are better than the Bears, but they're not better than the Vikings, and they're not better than the Lions. So, oh man, oh man, what is this? Exactly, bro. At the end of the day, y'all beat us 24-22, bro, and we was missing a lot of players. What you talking about, Jimmy? You want to bet? I'll bet you on that, Jimmy. And I don't want to bet no brats or no cheese curds either, because I don't eat that crap. I don't eat none of that crap. Y'all ain't gonna beat the Lions at home. Diggs and Tank Dell are overrated. Well, if you think that they're overrated, then let's just talk about Romeo Dobbs and him can't get himself together. Now, listen, I don't know. It's reported that he has mental health issues, and I don't want to talk about nobody who has mental health issues because I deal with them myself. But on the flip side, they just saying he just pouting. And hey, kudos to you, Jimmy. Watson has stayed healthy for how long? Oh, yeah, he might have just got hurt now getting out the shower. Kudos to you. You're talking about Diggs and Dale overrated. Dobbs and Watson ain't better. They're not even the best in that. They're the last. Jimmy, let's talk. Hot damn, you got me. Let's talk, Jimmy. Let's look at the wide receivers in the NFC North. You got Justin Jefferson and Addison for the Vikings. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams, right? James Williams on for the Lions. For the Bears, you got DJ Moore and what's the guy from the Chargers? I can't think of his name. God dang it. I can see his face, but I can't. Anyway, you got DJ Moore and who is the veteran that they got from the Chargers? And then you got Dobbs and Watson. Bro, you don't even have the best wide receiver group in the NFC North. What are you talking about? Now you done got, see this? Now I'm ready, Jimmy. Now let's talk, Jimmy. Because no, Jameson Williams is fast. They're better. Y'all have the worst. Y'all, is it Keenan Allen that I'm thinking about? Y'all have the worst wide receiver group in the NFC North. If you're telling me that you think Dobbs and Watson are better than what the Vikings have, Justin Jefferson is the number one wide receiver in the league. He's the best wide receiver in the league. You don't have none of that. The Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown will come to the Packers and be the number one option as soon as he signed the papers. DJ Moore would come and be your number one option. Y'all have the worst wide receiving core in the NFC North. Y'all, I got to get ready to get up out of here. Oh, yeah, I definitely got to get up out of here. Exactly. Tim Settle put him on his butt. Check. Jimmy said, check the numbers. Hold on. Check the numbers. We did. Who talking out feelings? Who? See, Jimmy, I thought you really wanted to talk ball. I thought you really came in here to talk ball, and I was going to give you an opportunity. But what I really see is you just come in here to troll and talk about your third best. You talk about the third best team in the NFC North. Because at the end of the day, for as good as you think y'all are 5-2. So are the Texans. Except the Texans are in first place in their division. Where are y'all? Let me look at these standings. Y'all give me 1 second. NFC North. Y'all are one game better than the Chicago Bears, and that's because they had a bye week. Detroit is 5-1. Minnesota is 5-1. You talking about how great your offense is, Jimmy? The Detroit Lions, as far as point differential is concerned, they're plus 62. The Minnesota Vikings, they're plus 61. The Chicago Bears are plus 47. You know who's bringing up the red plus 43? Yeah, that would be your Green Bay Packers, my guy. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Let me go over here. Let me look at these stats. Receiving yards, Jaden Reed, 452. Romeo Dobbs, 312. Tucker Kraft, 264. Devontae Wicks, 181. Christian Watson, 157 yards receiving. Since we're here, now that I'm here, let me just do this. Let me just go here. Since you want to talk, about your wide receiver core, let's just go and look. And that's that. Let's look here because we know that Nico is still number 4 and he only played 5 games. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Top 5. Justin Jefferson has 531 yards. Jaden Reed has 452. And then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, 401. Jameson Williams with 361. You have, hold on. DJ Moore has 314. Romeo Dobbs has 312. I'm still trying to get down to, hold on, let me go all the way down here. Damn, they ain't even have Christian Watson, ain't even in the top 100. Yeah. Let me get up out of here, y'all. Who has better numbers than Reed besides the best receiver in the league? Okay. So you I'm not getting into it. I'm not getting into it with Jimmy because now Jimmy talking off a feeling. That's a damn lie. Don't believe all the media. Believe this media though. Believe this credential media member right here. Because I tell it like a TI is, Jimmy. I don't know how y'all do it over there. I know how some of you Packers fans love to go to your favorite Packers guys who circle jerk you. Damn it, I don't want to be demonetized on YouTube. You know what I'm saying, though. They stroke y'all egos and make you feel good. Over here, this ain't no feel good. This telling it like a TI is. In Houston, I stand 10 toes down on everything that I say. And the funny part about it, Jimmy, is I'm talking about the Texans and I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm not talking from my fandom. I'm talking about ball. I'm talking about ball. And when I put this hat on, I don't have a team. When I take this hat off and I say, let me use my fandom, I take this hat off before I start talking about the Dallas Cowboys and my fandom because this is my media hat right here. I don't have a team when I have this on, Jimmy. And the Texans fans know. One of the reasons why the Texans fans follow me, one of the reasons why the Texans fans give me this amount of time to speak with them and talk with them and come on this show live, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 9:30 in the morning, live, giving me their time right then and right there, Jimmy, is because they know right here, we gonna talk about it. Talk about it Tuesday. We're gonna talk about it, Jimmy. And when I say we're gonna talk about it, we talk about the good and the bad. Ain't no stroking of egos over here. Ain't no trying to make you feel good over here. And I get it. Because in Green Bay, there's nothing else to do but watch Packers football. In Wisconsin, there's nothing else to do but watch the Packers or Wisconsin Badgers. That's it. Ain't nothing else to do. So y'all need y'all ego stroke because that's all y'all got. So I understand that a lot of these people who talk Packers football got to make you feel good. Now, with that being said, I know I'm in trouble with my wife. I'm cool with that. I'm hoping that I got at least one of those get out of jail free cards in my and one of those get out of jail free cards in the bank, so I could be like, hey, you remember that time I had did this thing that I really didn't want to do, but I did it anyway, and then you said that I could use that when I need it. I'm gonna have to use that because she's a diehard Packers fan, and she gonna think that I went in entirely too hard on the Packers fan. He tried. He tried, but he can't. He tried, but he can't. He can't. Yes. I tell you what, Jimmy, if you're looking for a feel good, hey, Peter Bukowski, who does Locked On Packers, he'll make you feel good. He'll definitely make you feel good, and he'll give you all those analytic stats that you want. But if you ever come back over here on Sports Talk with Big Sarge, I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm not. I'm not here. I'm not here to make you feel good. And now that it's been said, exactly. Now that it's been said, Jimmy, there is not a shadow of a doubt in my mind that you have made the prison cuisine spread. Jimmy, drop it in the comments what you use. Use Doritos and ranch, or use like Doritos or Fritos and cheese. What you use? What you put in your spread, Jimmy? I know you got it. I know. Hold on for a second, y'all. Y'all give me a second. I put Jimmy in timeout. Let me get back to these comments. I put Jimmy in timeout. I gotta get up out of here, y'all. I've had an amazing time today. Now I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I do. And I told Jimmy, boy, don't say that about boy, forgive me. I don't want to disrespect Jimmy like that. Jimmy, I put you in timeout, and I had to tell you, don't come in here talking that nonsense that CJ Stroud can't read defenses. I told you that, Jimmy, you got a better chance of talking about Vince Lombardi than you do and getting away with it than CJ Stroud. You got a better chance of saying Aaron Rodgers sucked when he was in Green Bay than you do talking about CJ Stroud. Over here with the fans, with the media, with myself, that's not gonna fly. And what I mean by talking about him is with you talking about he doesn't know how to read defenses. Jimmy, you have lost your entire mind. Now, if we keeping it a buck, if we keeping it a buck, Jordan Love may have that issue. If we keeping it a buck, we already know that CJ Stroud is a way better quarterback than Jordan Love. When I say way better, I mean way better. Jordan Love may have the issue of reading defenses, Jimmy. You might want to look into your own. Hey, some of y'all may remember this. Sweep around your own front door before you sweep around mine. Ow! Sweep around your own front door before you sweep around mine. Jimmy, you better sweep around your own front door. You better look at Jordan Love before you start talking about CJ Stroud. Hey, there's a reason why CJ Stroud started day one. There's a reason why the Packer fans wanted to just go ahead and see what they could trade Jordan Love for and keep Aaron Rodgers. And even when he did get an opportunity to play, what did they say? Did we really make the right decision? Jordan Love is the third best quarterback in his own division. And that's only because Caleb Williams is a rookie. And that's a division that's a division that has Sam Darnold in it. Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, two players that I never would say is better than anybody. I'm going to be honest with you. Sam Darnold, no. I had to eat crow on that one because I said there's no possible way that the Houston Texans team would lose with that defense, would lose to a Sam Darnold led offense, and he beat them. They ain't played Jared Goff yet, but I am afraid of Jared. I'm afraid Jared Goff is gonna come in here and be as efficient as he can, and it's gonna be a very tough day. I'm not saying that what I mean by afraid. I'm just saying that if he stays efficient, it's gonna be a very long day for the Houston Texans defense. Hopefully, they'll be healthy by then. But I mean, and Caleb Williams, it ain't like Caleb Williams. He's starting to turn it around, especially playing a soft schedule like they're playing. He's starting to turn it around. So Jordan Love ain't even the best quarterback in his own division. Just like the Packers aren't even the best team in their own division. What are we talking about here, Jimmy? What in the hell are we talking about here? Now that I spent that too much time on Jimmy, but I told these Packers fans, and just like I did on my post game, you know what? I'm going to reshare my post game. Just like I said, you shouldn't be happy about beating the Houston Texans 24-22 when you're supposed to have this great offense, and you're supposed to have this great quarterback, and you're supposed to have these great wide receivers, and you had to win on a last second field goal going up against a Houston Texans defense that had 4 starters missing, both of their starting linebackers out, their starting cornerback out, their starting safety out, and you're only able to put up 24 points. And you should have lost the game because Eric Murray, listen, that was a hard catch to make. I get it. But if he comes up with that interception, it's done. One might say, Jimmy, since you're listening and paying so much attention, one might say, Jimmy, that the Houston Texans beat themselves. One might say that bad time management and play calling at the end of the game lost the game for the Houston Texans more than the Green Bay Packers won it. I'm just saying, Jimmy. I'm just saying. Don't come in here with your chest all poked out with being the third best team. Don't come in here with your 5-2 record when that's the same record the Houston Texans got. You beat them head to head. Yes, you did. The Packers can stick the Vikings can stick their chest out. They beat the Texans. They beat the Texans 34-7. The Packers can poke their chest out. The Vikings can poke their chest out. The Packers can't. I don't know where you entitled Packers fans come from. Like y'all not even y'all not even the best team y'all not even the best team in your division. And if you want to look at the best teams in the NFC, you ain't that either. Where do you rank in the NFC? Come on, Jimmy. Because now you got me here. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Detroit Lions are better than y'all. The Minnesota Vikings are better than y'all. I would say that the Atlanta Falcons are better than y'all. Tampa Bay, if freaking Todd Bowles didn't pull what he pulled last night at the end of the game, I would have said they're better than y'all. I don't think y'all can beat a fully healthy Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. I don't think that y'all can beat the Atlanta Falcons. Y'all can beat everybody else. The San Francisco 49ers are you can just call it a year for them. They're done. Panthers, done. Saints, done. Cardinals, any given Sunday. Rams, done. The Bears might end up being better than y'all. Stop it, Jimmy. Leave me alone. But what I need you to do is to make sure that you come back. You've been tuned into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel at Big Sarge Media and follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Because we do everything for the gram. Make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Texans podcast and the YouTube channel with myself and co-host John, some sports guy Hickman. We talk Texans every day, all day. Hey, y'all need to run over there, right? Side note, before I get up out of here. Hey, y'all need to really go listen to Tuesday's episode of the Locked On Texans podcast, because over there we talked about maybe it's time for Bobby Slowik to share some of his offensive play calling. To share some of his offensive play calling duty with somebody else. Maybe it's time to give Gerard Johnson a look to see how much he can help, especially with the camaraderie that him and CJ Stroud have together. Maybe. 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 Just maybe. So y'all make sure y'all go over there. Oh hell, Jimmy back. I gotta go. Hey Jimmy, in all honesty, come back tomorrow. Be right here, bro. We'll be waiting. I mean, if you want to make this you want me to make this a talk down on Packers, I can't do that because, like I said, my wife's a diehard Packer fan, and she even said that y'all should have lost. I'm out.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work.